question to Chandan. Chandan, now a company with all good intentions, they may have great intentions to spend CSR, but they may not be able to, spend it for some reason in say January to April to March, the financial year. So what happens to the unspent amount? Suppose a company was supposed to spend 1 crore by 31st March, and they are not able to spend it. So what happens to that unspent amount after 31st of March as per law?
So Sumit, law has very clearly spelled out what would be the what would a company need to do in case of unspent account. So subsection 5 and subsection 6 of section 135 talks about that. So there could be two scenarios. One is companies having some ongoing projects, and or there could be other than ongoing projects, like non-ongoing projects. So in case of ongoing projects, section 135 subsection 6 says that firstly, what is ongoing projects? So which and a project which goes beyond the financial year and including the financial year in which it has started, plus it can go up to 3 more financial years. So for example, if you've started any project in 22-23, so 23-24, 24-25, and 25-26. So this can go until that, and there could be non-ongoing projects also. So in case of ongoing projects, you have to actually very judiciously disburse the amount to your implementing agencies, because the law says for any unspent amount by 30th of April, a company has to open a CSR account for that financial year and has to deposit the entire unspent amount in that CSR unspent account. So and that can be utilized in a further period of 3 years. So every year a company has to open an unspent CSR account in case there is any unspent amount, and then which means it goes financial year wise. Now in case of non-ongoing projects, if the money is not spent by 31st of March, the only option which is left with the company is to deposit or transfer that unspent amount to a fund mentioned in Schedule 7. So for now, 4 funds are mentioned, as Preeti also covered in her presentation: Prime Minister National Relief Fund, PM CARES Fund, Swachh Bharat Kosh, and Clean Ganga Fund. So in case government establishes any other fund, as of now, these are the 4 funds. So which means in case of unspent amount has to be transferred to the fund, and in case of ongoing project, that has to be deposited in unspent CSR account by 30th day of April every year.
Understand. Thank you, Chandan. Now, Chandan, again, back to you. Would you like to touch upon very briefly, in 2 minutes, the provisions of CSR amendment rules to 2022? What are the key changes brought about by CSR amendment rules 2022?
Sure. There are some amendments. I'll just share my screen once again. Yeah. So the first change happened with respect to constitution of CSR committee, requirement of constitution of CSR committee in case there is any unspent amount left in the CSR account, CSR unspent account. Preeti has touched it in her presentation also, the requirements of constitution of CSR committee. So it was earlier dispensed with, which means in case your spending is less than 50 lakhs, you don't need to constitute CSR committee. However, by this amendment, the law has described that you still need the CSR committee, even if your spend is less than 50 lakhs, but you still.
Oh, there's a little bit of breakage, looks like. I think what Chandan was saying was, if you have an unspent amount, then still you need a CSR committee, even if your this year's spend is less than 50 lakhs. Understand. Chandan, I'm sorry you got cut. So, time is very short, but if in 2 minutes you could broadly speak about the 2-3 key provisions of CSR amendment rules.
Yeah. So Sumit, first I have already discussed in constitution of CSR committee in case there is a unspent amount left. Second is the omission of Rule 3 sub Rule 2. So this rule earlier talked about carrying on your CSR committee and complying with the provisions for a period of 3 years. From the time these provisions are no more applicable. For example, you are no more eligible under Section 135. You still need to carry on your committee. So this amendment was made in the section earlier. However, this was yet to be made in the rule. Now they have omitted in the rule also. So now it is only the preceding financial year which we have to see. The third is with respect to CSR implementation, the implementing agency, which I mentioned earlier. This has included Section 1023C entities, which are majorly the educational institutions and trusts. And fourth one is with respect to CSR reporting. In fact, it is not about CSR reporting. This is about impact assessment. This is under CSR reporting rule, so therefore it is coming under that. So earlier, for impact assessment cost, up to 5% of the overall CSR expenditure or 50 lakhs, whichever is lower, was allowed as a cost which can be claimed as CSR expenditure. If you see, the impact assessment was anyways applicable on 10 crore or more. So 5% of 10 crore comes to 50 lakhs. So earlier the law says 50 lakhs or 50 lakhs, whichever is less. So they have now changed it. So 50 lakhs is mentioned as a cap now. So it is like 2% or 50 lakhs, whichever is higher. So basically the window now is 20 lakhs to 50 lakhs towards your impact assessment cost, which can be claimed as a CSR expenditure. The final major amendment is with respect to change in Annexure 2. So in this Annexure 2, the details about projects, etc. have been dispensed with because they have now come up with Form CSR 2. Lastly, in CSR 1, so this has been revised to give impact of Section 1023C education institution, which was earlier not coming there. So these were the major amendments which came up in September 2022.
Understand. I must also compliment Chandan, the way you showed the Excel of 198 and this impact assessment, the previous and the new and the changes looks like good formats being prepared by eMinds Legal, shows the professionalism how you're advising your clients. So compliments for that as well. Because one is the practitioners like Mr. Singh, who are doing great work, and also is contributing to the ecosystem as a consultants who are also on the today's webinar, and the two panelists between Preeti and Chandan, who are advising the clients in the right way, the ethical way, what the law says, what the spirit is, etc., etc. So kudos to both Preeti and you.
Welcome to Complinity Technologies. Complinity is India's leading governance, risk and compliance software helping companies to manage their compliance, contracts, litigation, legal updates, inter-financial controls and more. Complinity is a one-stop shop for all GRC needs. With our proprietary 12 GRC modules and real-time legal updates on 2,000+ laws and 24,000+ compliances. All in an integrated platform that is easy to use with automated alerts and risk management capabilities. Is why compliance managers, general counsels and chief financial officers choose Complinity every time. Join the most innovative and prestigious brands that use Complinity. Automating your compliance management. Request a demo at complinity.com.